We are officially on the air for episode 151 of Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes. Hello. I'm Patricia
Hello.
Steere, and that's Mark Sargent. And we're ready for a great show. Hello to all in chat. And it looks like, well, this is really weird. Now I'm looking at my live viewers, and I noticed in chat that we had a ton of people there, but now it says, okay, good. Whew, that was so weird. It said 0 viewers, but I knew in chat there were a ton of different people there. So let me just make sure the show is going fine.
Sure.
I think there's a little weird delay going on. Okay, now it said 0 viewers, and now it's 31 viewers the next second. So I think the what do you call it? Counter's off. That's a boring way to start the show. Let's start over. Hi, welcome to Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes.
Hot sex.
Yeah, well, okay, but not this.
Well, hey, it's not boring.
You're right. It's not boring. It's not boring.
Illicit drug abuse.
Okay.
Drama.
Drama. Yeah. Not here, but there's been drama elsewhere today on Flat Earth for sure. Yeah. But hey, you know what? It's what makes the world go round, because it doesn't really spin. So all we've got left is drama.
Really? I mean, inject drama into everything. Look at any reality show nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I have the privilege of watching a cooking channel from time to time.
You have the privilege?
Oh yeah.
I know you love cooking, so
I do like cooking. I don't care about the cooking channel though. I'm not that much into it that I will spend all my time to a network that's dedicated to cooking.
Your mom and you made something for me when I came over for dinner. Gosh, I forgot what it was, but it was homemade. You probably can't remember either.
Oh, I can't remember either. Lots of it's homemade.
But it was really great, and it was almost surreal sitting there with you and your mom, and that you made dinner and watching you two in the kitchen working together, really like you'd been doing it forever, which you have.
We totally could have, in another life, we totally could have opened a restaurant.
Yeah, you guys are.
Well,
I know for the church that you and she, because you told me, I've not seen it myself, but have cooked a bunch of things to bring, and you are like a staff of 2.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I am going down to do that same sort of church thing next week.
Nice. What are you making?
I have no freaking idea. Soups, breads, whatever. It's churchy stuff. So it's
drama stew with the side order.
No
allegations.
Church invents its own drama. The whole gossip grapevine. That's what church is.
Every group, no matter what type of group, Flat Earthers are not the only ones, have drama. And, it's enjoyable for some, and for others, it's horrible when they're on the receiving end of it.
Flat Earth doesn't necessarily need drama, though, because the conspiracy world has drama built into it, because everybody is naturally suspicious.
Yes.
So, I mean, people are on hair triggers most of the time.
I know. Oh, you know what you were saying before? I was talking about what you and your mom made when I went and visited you guys. Cooking show. You have the privilege of watching a cooking show.
There's a couple cooking networks out there. The Food Network is one of them, right? Mm-hmm. And all the shows really is you take standard cooking things and you just inject drama into it. You turn it into a competition. It's the whole Survivor formula.
Yes.
You're going to get chopped. You're going to get chopped. Or it's like, okay, mystery ingredient time. Or, okay, you need to impress us using only these things. In fact, you only get to cook with a iron skillet and a paring knife. It's all it is. It's drama built in that is okay. Here's your time limit. Now that time limit's cut in half.
Exactly. And even naming a show Chopped says it all. Someone's on the cutting board or block.
Anyway, so Flat Earth does not necessarily need drama, because we've already got all the drama we need built in. But if they ever decide to go down that road, it is not going to be difficult. It's going to write itself. Plain and simple. So.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. I want to go into chat, and I know we're going to have a special guest join us for a couple of moments. Oh, and my special guest Flynn the cat just joined me up here on the printer, which is right near. Flynn, don't knock anything over. He's yawning. He's already bored. That's not good. And today when I went out today and I went to the gym, and I still have wet hair, came back, took a shower, hurried up and put my contact lenses in. One tore, and the other one I thought was the reading one, and I put it in. It turned out to be the distance one. So I will be struggling to read here but I will read from chat as we await our special guest popping in.
Drama, try to read your stuff with one contact.
Yeah, the one for distance.
Bingo.
Nice. Hello to Carlos and the Potter's Clay. Hey, I love the Potter's Clay. Good channel. Subscribe. I subscribe. Entropy is here, who says Dragons Unite. Well, hey, why not? FPV Angel is in. Perrin is here. Carrie Musgrave is here. The non-vanishing harmonic spinner asks if you juggle, Mark. So
I do juggle.
Can you juggle? I was going to say your balls, but that's not what I meant.
Wow. Really? Really?
No, that was accidental. It just sort of was about to come out.
That was one of the most horrible subliminal hot sex messages I've ever heard.
Exactly.
Let me see if I can find some things. No, I don't know if there's three things.
You can juggle that microphone and then 2 random things that you have in the room.
Well, no. I can juggle, though. I
right.
absolutely can juggle. But the catch, the trick to it, you know what?
I can go in my kitchen and get you some apples.
No.
I'll pass them over the computer.
I'll juggle 3 odd things, right? So a flash drive, a chapstick, and an orgone thingy that was given to me at Nanaimo, right?
Okay.
So all you're doing is, I don't know if I can do it sitting down, is it's tough to.
Awesome. That's great.
Well, I can't, it's tough to do with these things. But the point is, I can teach people how to juggle. It's all you do is you practice with 2 things, and the trick is you want to throw something from this hand, and as it's going to land in this hand, you want to throw the other thing up. So you just practice with 2 over and over and over again until you do it in your sleep, and then finally you just add a 3rd one because it never stops. That anyway, it's a long story. I'll teach you guys. But yes, I can. I absolutely can juggle.
Does it somehow prove flat Earth? You couldn't jungle if we juggle.
No, jungle. No. No, it doesn't. Wait, what? Why is juggling have anything to do with flat Earth?
It doesn't. I just decided to tie it in.
I can't juggle. That's an odd question, but yeah, I absolutely can juggle.
Let's see. Hi to Felix. I am who's laughing. Andres as well is here. Shane Corning is here. Fred Montana. Jared. It looks like Jared Cheeseburger because my eyes are deceiving me. Test Vision and and Ukdina, who says, Mark, you are the boy next door, which is a compliment. And our special guest is here.
Synthetic Dread, who is not the boy next door. Seriously,
he is.
I met him face to face. He would scare some mothers.
No.
Absolutely, he would.
Synthetic Dread to me is so sweet, nice, sincere, and he's an archer. Archery to me is a very romantic sport. So I don't know. I don't see him as threatening.
Synthetic. No, seriously, I've met this guy, and he could talk his way through a velvet rope at a club, but talking his way into the hearts of mothers in America, I don't think so.
That's your job, Mark.
Yeah. And wait a minute, you're not American though.
Canadian.
No, it's true, but I got a lot of American friends.
Yes.
Well, you guys went to a Flat Earth gathering in Nanaimo, and I brought Dread in because both of you guys went, and I just wanted to get the lowdown. How many people were there? What was it like? What was everyone happy? Did new information get exchanged?
Oh man, it was incredible, right, Mark? I mean, you've been to lots, so I guess for you it was another notch, but for me it was great. I
don't know about that, but it was a lot of fun. I know 15, 20 people. It was hard to keep count because there were people kept trickling in at the end. Yeah. And some came over from Vancouver, some from Middle Island, some from the South End down near Victoria. I drove up, took me about 90 minutes to get there. Little out of the way place.
Yeah.
Called the Rocking Horse Pub, which honestly, as I started driving into the woods, I didn't know if I'd find it. And I was like, oh, wow, there it is.
I was gonna message you and ask you if you knew. It's technically not in Nanaimo. It's in another community called Nanoose.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's where it is, which is outside of Nanaimo, 20 minutes or so down the highway kind of thing.
Cool.
But yeah, it was sure out of the way, but what a beautiful little pub, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful atmosphere. Big shout out to, was it Nat? And Nat's
Nathan.
His name, right?
Nathan. Well, Nathan. Or Nat maybe for short, but yeah, Nathan.
Yeah, I think okay, Nathan. Big shout out to Nathan for putting that together. He was just a great guy, right?
Yeah. Very enthusiastic, lots of energy. Everyone there was super positive. And a lot of people, it's a regular conspiracy group that meets quite often, for
I know I signed up.
Yeah. for binge drinking and mud wrestling or whatever they do. And a lot of them didn't know all the details of flat Earth, so it turned really into sort of an instructional, where I was just, they were asking me questions, and it had a nice mix of people, both men and women, people that didn't know a lot about it, some people that knew quite a bit about, other people are like, I've watched everything you've done, other people, I don't know who you are. It was a great combination of people. And
it was funny. So I brought my good buddy to the show, right? To the gathering, right? And he's not quite where we are or I am yet. So he was like he's coming and he's expecting like tinfoil hats and stuff like that, right? And he didn't really know what to say. And it was great. Like you made the rounds and talked to lots of different people there, and you even made time to talk to him. And that I really appreciate that, because you were like, you said, I think something to the, something like, I respect that, you've come here just to look for information. My friend came and I introduced him to everybody, and he said, I'm just here for information, kind of thing, right? Because he's open-minded, but he's not subscribing to anything at this time, right? He's just kind of keeping it a blank slate for now, I guess. But he left there and he said, wow, I didn't know that's what it was going to be like. He had no idea that it was going to be just this round table of just totally normal people of all walks of life. There was just as many women there as there were men.
Yeah, there were. And again, that's how I knew that the whole flat Earth community is just going to keep growing and growing, because women are naturally more suspicious than men, and they embrace this. How many women have come out, and women on YouTube, that's a dicey adventure in a lot of cases. How many women have made videos along a woman making a flat Earth video? Talk about putting yourself out there. That's fantastic. So yeah, there was a bunch of women there, and all very enthusiastic, not a shy one in the bunch. They were all, super go-getters. So
this seems like it's not just a bunch of people having drinks and having fun talking about flat Earth and bonding. You actually were educating new people about flat Earth, which is taking it to the streets, which is really what we need to be doing.
Yeah, same thing with the group at Souk that I went to. It's funny, people, I don't know how they do it, but yeah, like you invited your buddy. That happens where people are like, hey, you want to come to a thing with me? What's it going to be about?
He was my designated driver.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Just to warn you, might get a little weird. And when they show up, it's they don't know, because it's again, it's such a giant concept. Most people are like, wait, what are we talking about here exactly? And then it finally sinks. There was a guy sitting across from me, an older gentleman who was he was the quietest one of all. You probably know which one I'm talking about. He's super quiet on the other side. He was just taking it all in. And he was British. In fact, there was quite a few British people there, which was interesting. Yeah. And it was fantastic. I loved it. I didn't have a designated driver with me, so
That's too bad.
It's all right. I know you guys wanted me to stay. Heck, Nathan stayed for another. When did I leave? 5, 6. I got there to 3, 4, 5. Nathan stayed for another like 3 hours. Wait, how late did you stay?
I stayed for another good hour and a half or so in the bar part there, and we all hung out and had drinks and chatted, and everybody was just great. So they get together. That was my first meetup, and the first time I'd actually ever met anybody like-minded. So for me, it was just incredible, and I really made sure to make some contacts here, right, and get a hold of these people, because it's nice. They get together sometimes, like every week or two, they'll get together at the pub and take over a whole corner of a pub and have drinks, and it's interesting. So you might not have known about this that night. It was so funny. So there was the people that were at our table, but we didn't just infect their minds too. We managed to get the waitress who was serving our table had been designated.
I heard that.
Yeah, she pulls me over to the side during the night. I was like walking across the bar.
The replacement waitress, right? Not the one that left for the evening, but the replacement.
Not the blonde one, the brunette one. I wish I could remember her name.
Wait, the one that was serving us the entire time? Or the taller one that came in at the end?
The one that came in at the end with the brunette hair and kind of took over, because I'm not sure if the blonde one was kind of.
Well, no, her shift.
Her world is shaken. Maybe, I don't know.
No. She said to go home. She was already done.
Oh, okay. No, they were great there. That pub was just remarkable, top-notch service. And the waitress, anyways, pulls me to the side and she's like, what are you guys, what's going on, right? The earth is what? So I'm like, okay, so I said, the earth is flat, okay? I took a telescope. I said, listen, this is, I couldn't believe it at first. I said, I took a telescope to the ocean. I looked through it and saw mainland 21 miles away. I saw a ferry docked on the other side, and that should be 267 feet of curvature approximately.
Right.
Because I was looking at it's 21 miles across to the mainland from the island where we are. Yeah. But you got to look at it from an angle. So I'm guessing that changes the distance. So it's maybe a bit longer than 21 miles. But anyways, you're looking at about 270 to 280 feet of curvature, and the ferries are not that tall, right? So I explained to her real quick, like, this is one of the things that, snapped me out of it. And then I told her the story about the boat tracking app. If you guys do this, if you live near a body of water like the ocean, you'll need the ocean. You have boat tracking apps you can use, and they tell you exactly how far the boat is away from your location where you're standing on the shoreline, right? So you get that, you get your telescope, catch a cargo ship as it's starting to sail out, right? You're going to be there for a while. You got to prepare yourself.
Because they're slow.
Have some snacks and drinks, because you're going to be sitting there for at least a good hour and a half. This ship moves at like 10 or 20 knots an hour, right? Or whatever.
Right.
It's very slow. But I sat there for an hour and a half and managed to track this boat about 30 miles away.
Nice.
And so that was before I started a YouTube channel. Before I had to prove it to myself, right, Mark? Patricia, you don't want to be accused of, I just believe everything I'm told on YouTube. No. Mark, you got me interested and piqued with clues, and so did guys like Math Powerland, and that came up in conversation too that night, Math Powerland, and we kind of went talked about how we had kind of started discovering it. And a lot of people say it was you or Eric or Math kind of really just brought the right information to the table for them, right?
Yeah, and nobody wants to be that idiot. Everyone's got enough confidence in their problem-solving abilities, like you, like me, and that is nobody does a knee-jerk reaction where they're immediately on board and they make a YouTube channel. It's like, oh yeah, flat Earth's great. Most people simmer for a while. They sit on it, and they'll sit there and they'll go, all right, they've got to convince themselves, and only when they're absolutely sure of the, how many people we don't. I mean, there's a few every once in a while, but most people are not on the fence when they finally start making their YouTube videos about it.
It piqued my interest right away enough that I had to go test it. So I was going for it at first, but I couldn't be full-fledged, of course, get really into it until I proved it to myself in my own eyes. And then, I did that thing too. I saw when you bought that laser temperature gun and people were doing that. So I did that test too. These are simple things that everybody can do, right?
Oh, absolutely. So 20 bucks.
I rattled all that stuff off to the waitress, and she, a lot of that stuff. And she was like, taking notes. Okay. All right. And then so I left her with that, and she was really happy. Right. And, we all tipped quite well, I'd say. So the bar was quite happy, and it was great. Great night.
And they had a raffle, and several of the people at our table won things from the raffle.
Right. Meat draw or something.
The meat drawers. Sorry, no
meat draws. They're big in Canada.
Apparently, there's quite a few local butcher shop things around that area, and so they do raffles at the pub. And I didn't even know I had raffle tickets until I won. So
you win meat, like a side of beef,
and you get to choose whether it's bird or ham or
cat,
or some loin or ostrich.
No, usually beef.
All right,
but it was cool, and great group of people, and nothing but total enthusiasm. Not a negative thing I could say about the entire evening.
So
not one.
You would both say that if you have if a person watching or listening has a chance to go to a meetup, they should go 100%, right?
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, organized stuff. In fact, after that, I had someone that said they grew up in Nanaimo, was sad they missed it. They heard about it after the fact, and now there's going, look, if you do one, if you're going to be around, they're going to try to organize one in Victoria in the summer. But if anyone wants to organize one, if you cannot make a video on it, or if you don't know how and you want me to just advertise it on my channel, just give me the details. I'll make a quick video saying, look, there's a meetup going to be in Cincinnati. There's going to be meetup in Charlotte, North Carolina, wherever. I will. It's totally worth your time. If you want to get out of the house and hang out with people that share the same beliefs you do, this is a great thing to do. Plus, of course, the conference, all the hype of it.
It also seemed multi-pronged too. So not only do you get to meet people that you're on the same page with, but you get these other people that are showing up because they're curious. And so you're hitting this from a few different angles that are all positive, right? And
right. The flat curious group. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's great. And I think that if somebody does, I had a meetup here in Houston last April and went to one in Oxford in the UK too. It creates a bond too, that when you see that person in chat or you see one of their videos, if they're a video maker, you just feel like, hey, I know that guy. That guy's cool. Or I like that woman. And we need more of that because there's lots of division within this Flat Earth community. It's nice to have those connections. I think that once you meet a fellow Flat Earther, it's a connection that you will never forget. Oh,
sorry.
That sounded like it's a commercial coming up. And
Yeah.
this is brought to you by Monsanto. Anyway, so that's Synthetic Dread, SYNTHETIK Dread. And so subscribe to his channel if you've not already. And yeah, definitely if you're having a meetup, let me know. And like Mark will mention it on his Strange World on TFR. I'll mention it right here on a Wednesday Secret Show. If you've got one coming up, I've mentioned a couple that happened in Scotland. So yeah, so thank you, Dread, for coming on.
Oh, thank you for having me. It was great talking to you guys. Thanks for coming out, Mark, and visiting all of us. It was a great time.
My pleasure.
We'll do it again, hopefully.
Yeah,
right?
definitely. We're going to definitely do another thing up in Nanaimo way before the conference. So yeah,
I had no idea there were so many flat earthers here. I really
know. And if there's, let's put it this way, if there's that many people that are in frickin' Nanaimo, then how there are? Look, I'm not exaggerating. There's millions out there. I mean, if there's the percentage, what was it? Joe Rogan said he did some stat where he was like 6% of the population think the Earth is flat. If that number is even remotely close,
huge.
There's so many closet flat earthers out there. So yeah, I can't wait. It's gonna be a blast. 2017, great year for it.
All right, thanks guys. Appreciate your time. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye everybody.
All right, see ya.
Once again, Synthetic Dread, subscribe to his channel. The conference that's coming up, might as well just talk about that very briefly. FEIC, Flat Earth International Conference 2017. There's still tickets for sale. You can get them at $109, I think, and that's for a two-day event. And of course, you can, then your hotel, you get a discount on the hotel. And
if you want to stay in the same hotel where the conference is at, you might want to start thinking about booking it soon. And they will not bill you until November rolls around, obviously.
I think you and I were the first ones to buy tickets or buy our hotel. Yeah.
No, we weren't.
We weren't?
Well, no, it was some of the other presenters.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Before us.
Well, I didn't want to not have a room. I just said, I'm getting on it right now. So,
well, once I heard that the closest next hotel to it was like 3 miles away, it's like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna miss out on staying in the same hotel because if you don't want to you don't want to have to walk in case something happens.
Yeah, or, like one cocktail too many or something.
1, 5, whatever. I'm not judging.
Who's counting?
But yeah, that's exactly it. So book that hotel at the Embassy Suites, and if you're gonna book it, go through the FE 2017 website because the group rates automatically apply when you portal through it.
Yeah, it's like $109. No, wait, what is it? $149. Yeah, $149 a night.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, in the description box of this and every single one of my more recent videos is the FEIC link and all that. And once again, people are thinking, look at them pushing that convention or conference again. They're just in it for the money. We don't make any money.
We're not making a dime off this thing.
We have to pay our own airfare, or for those of us who are speaking, and driving, transportation, and our own hotel room and our own food, and taking our own time to do it. And guess why we are? Because we love it. We're excited. We want to meet everybody and connect.
I just want more people, because I get so many emails where it's like, oh, I want to meet other people that are into this like me. You want to go to the ultimate thing, the first time ever, go to this, the Flat Earth.
If you don't go to this, then next year and the year after, everyone will always be saying, it's not as good as that first year. So be in on it for the first year. So you'll be one of those people who can say, yeah, I was at the first one ever. So
yeah, it's not a fluke. The things that I have been to so far, the energy is always fantastic, and they're just small little things, and multiply that by a lot, and that's what this conference is going to be. I cannot wait. And of course, it's going to be a little different than the meetups, because there's going to be media there. There's going to be weird questions there. Who knows? There may be science protesters there, university students.
We're also going to be accidentally converting everybody who works in the hotel over to looking at least at Flat Earth just by our presence. Waiters, the staff, they're going to be listening to what we're saying. And,
it's funny that you'd mention that, because Synthetic Dread, he used a term which it's really the most appropriate term for it, and that is it infects people. I'm not going to say that Flat Earth is a virus, but at the same time, it is infectious. Once you get the bug, once you get the Flat Earth bug, it's in you. And you cannot, there's nothing you can do. It's you either have to deal with it one way or the other. You have to ignore it, which is very tough to do, or you just embrace it, and then you lose a whole bunch of sleep, and all you want to do is infect other people with it.
How can you explain, though, the people that do believe, like that I've told my sister and my brother, I gave them lots of information, back in 2015. They looked at it and they said, I believe you, but what does it matter? And of course, we've all heard that before. And you try to explain to them why it matters. I mean, that's a long conversation, and you get quite passionate when you're explaining it. But when they hear you say that, and then they just go about their day and don't do any more research and don't try an experiment. How can you explain that? Why are there some people that are impervious to the infection?
It's not that they're impervious to it. They just aren't actually looking at it. They say they're looking at it, but they're not really looking at it. If they say, why does it matter? Then they can't look outside their own life box, the small confines of how they live their reality on a day-to-day basis. Anybody that says that, and yeah, I get maybe 1 out of 10, 1 out of 15 people I run into will say that. Why does it matter? Who cares? Followed by, I still have to go to my crappy job the next day. My wife still hates me. My kids don't listen to me. And my dog is worthless, stuff like that. It's like, yeah, I get that, but the world will change around you. People say about other things, why does it matter? Well, it doesn't matter until the day it actually becomes widely accepted, until the day it actually goes full-blown mainstream, where it's accepted as a universal truth. Is that day coming, Mark? It certainly looks like it. The waves that they've been throwing at us over the last 30 days. I mean, look what's happened in the last 30 days. The sheer amount of mainstream coverage that, in fact, I posted a video just before we did the show where a listener had sent to me. Again, people who find the weirdest, cool little things, send them to me. So a listener down in Australia, it came on the radio while they were sitting there when the Australian radio guys were talking about Shaq. And he immediately just hit record and put his phone and just started recording the thing. I took the audio of it and it overlaid it over some Shaq videos. But yeah, Australian mainstream radio is running stories on Shaq now, because it's a kind of a delayed effect down there. The amount of people because they're down under and news travels. Exactly. It takes a while to get over the curve for the news to travel there. The amount. I have to say that Amanda McLeod, who's on my Facebook with me, wrote to me that one of Australia's biggest FM radio stations talked about Shaq. And she said they were a bit behind the times. And she said the station is Triple M 104.5. So that's probably Triple M. Yeah. Isn't that interesting how their radio stations are named differently than that? Is weird. If somebody can find 104.5. Yep. The Triple M 104.5. If somebody can find me the original to that, I will replace the video I've got up now, because it's not only a couple hours old, with that one, because I don't know what if they keep their archives on their website. But if somebody can find me the original where they're talking about Shaq, shoot me an email and tell me where it is, or send it to me, or send whatever you want to do. Send it to me. I will put it up. Because I like the original, quality better rather than second generation phone. Yeah, stuff. I know what you're saying. But I want to thank Amanda McLeod for writing to me, and I want to say hello to Seb and Layla and Tiki, her 3 cats. We were kind of chatting about cats a little bit. So nice.
it's amazing. Shaq, came on the scene, and then Shaq took it back, and then a statue of him unveiled with a big ball on the same day that he took it back. Coincidence? Is he in on it?
But then his daughter brings it up at the statue unveiling. The exposure. I mean, the fact that Jimmy Kimmel. Why do I keep wanting to say Kimball? Jimmy was Kimball. Kimball was the character in The Fugitive with Harrison Ford, wasn't it? Dr. Kimball. That's why I keep wanting to say. It doesn't matter. So Jimmy Kimmel brought it up on 2 different shows in the same week, or with like a 1 week span. One, he talked to Dave Chappelle about it when he was referencing LeBron and Kyrie. And then he brings Shaq on. But what was interesting though, was when he brought Shaq on, it felt so scripted, meaning there was 20 different ways Jimmy could have broached the subject with Shaquille O'Neal, but no. And that was his opening line to him was, so you're joking about the flat earth thing, right? Kind of like, say your line, that's what I felt when I was listening to Jimmy talk to him about this stuff. And Shaq, he backpedaled, not as hard as he could. He could have said, I wasn't serious at all about anything ever. It was 5 days later after the radio broadcast.
He said at the end, he either slipped up on purpose or not. And I'm not sure, at the end where he said, the earth is flat. I mean, the earth's not flat.
Right. Absolutely. And during the statue unveiling, when his daughter says, well, you think the earth is flat, and he's not, and goes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
It is. I know full well that if anyone that does enough road trips like he does, if he's driving cross country, he loves to drive in his big rigs. Not big rigs, but big vehicles. He doesn't like drive semis or anything. Where he has a lot of time in his hands, which means he's listening to a lot of podcasts. If you listen to even a fraction, it does not take much in the world of flat earth to get you convinced. And he knows, but there's too much pressure on the outside. The man makes $20 million a year in endorsements, and he hasn't played a game in a long time. Years and years and years. He has not played for a long time. I can't remember exactly when his career ended, but it's been a while. And he still makes $20 million a year in endorsements. It only takes one company to call his agent and say, look, can we have him ease off the whole flat earth thing? That's all it takes. His agent says, look, you have the potential of losing this sponsor, whoever it is. And that's all it takes. And he did backpedal a little bit. But again, I love it because it's a 2-for-1 story. It's a buy one get one free because it took 5 days for him to backpedal on Jimmy Kimmel. The same people that covered it now have to cover it again. So all the people that ran stories on flat earth saying Shaq's for flat earth now have to run an entire new series of stories saying Shaq's now against flat earth. And that just doubles up on all the exposure we get. We don't, honestly, it doesn't matter to us whether or not the celebrity stays his ground or stands his ground or not, because it's the media exposure that's the most important thing. You can't buy, we don't have, there isn't enough marketing dollars out there to generate what he did in a week. And he did internationally on top of it. And not only did everybody in the States cover it, but like Australian radio, if they're covering it, that means anybody that has media, any sort of, I don't care if it's radio or television or internet, whatever it is, they're going to cover this thing. So it was great. It was great for us. It wouldn't have mattered if he said he was backpedaling and then he died in a plane crash. In fact, that would even be better news. I mean, it's kind of a downer or a tragedy, but you know what I mean? It's like, Shaq backpedals from flat earth, then dies in plane crash.
Right.
For us, it's we couldn't get these guys to cover the story, and now they can't stop talking about it.
We need people that are considered to be intellectuals, not that those men that, that they aren't intelligent and educated, because some of them are definitely. Right. We need people in universities who aren't tied into the system in the fact that they know, but they're told to keep it on the down low, to look into it. Professors and the like.
It's difficult. The main reason why, in fact, I'm doing a New Year's Eve show on Dark 30 Radio with DITRH.
Oh,
and this year, remember last year we did, in fact, we didn't do it on April Fool's. last year it was supposed to be Richard Hoagland and Mark D'Antonio.
Oh, you said a New Year's Eve show, and I'm like, well, that's pretty far in advance.
Wow. Oh, sorry.
That's why I'm like, wow. Ooh.
Back in the day. Okay.
April
Fool's Day.
Right.
April Fool's Night on Dark 30 Radio. Please do not call in if you're a flat earther unless you're pretending to troll. We want actual trolls to call us. So last year, it wasn't on April Fool's. It was supposed to be Richard Hoagland and Mark D'Antonio. And Richard Hoagland was a no-show because he was scared to death of us. So it was Mark D'Antonio, who I made him quit in about 12 minutes, and Brian Dunning, who did not quit. And he was the guy, of course, we're never going to be able to talk to him again because remember, he used to run a debunking site, but then he went to prison for fraud. Mm-hmm. So his credibility went, it's gone. You're saying fraud? What do you mean fraud? Well, he embezzled from eBay a lot of money, I think in the millions. And he went to prison for it. He delayed it as long as he could. It was one of those white collar horrible crimes that people commit. Anyway, the point is we couldn't even get those guys this year. The station says we cannot get anybody to go against you. So they said, how would you like to take hostile phone calls? And I was like, okay, I'm in. Sure. Why not? And so I asked a few people. Initially I was thinking of getting, Jeffrey Grupp, and I don't know if Jeffrey. I mean, I really want Jeffrey to debate in academics. So I called DITRH. It's like, hey, you up for some nasty phone calls? It's like, yeah, let's do it. So he's on.
Everybody's wondering where DITRH is, and we've said it before, and I'll just say it again. He's just taking some time off, and hopefully he'll be back. And he is in live chats on shows. Sometimes this show, maybe even now. Yeah. I don't know. And I've seen him elsewhere. He's in Globebusters live chat. He's still an active flat earther who really cares about the community. He's just taking some time off publicly right now as a presence, but he's still here with us.
He will be there April 1st.
Yeah, exactly. And April 1st, I'm doing a show with, oh my gosh, why are we having these memory lapses? Why is that happening? It just happened to you a minute ago and you said New Year's Eve. And I'm having Michael Lewis, Stars or Souls. I just totally forgot his name, just like you said New Year's Eve.
Well, I forgot Jake from FEA.
Is this CERN taking effect?
Yeah, it's CERN. No, it's not a Mandela thing.
Mandela?
A Mandela effect? The Mandingo effect.
Yeah. Who are you anyway? What are we doing? Why are there bright lights? And what is that creature over there?
There are 4 lights.
Yeah, I do have some lights here. That's my light. That's right here. Let's see. I have a email I want to read here. And like I said earlier, I put the contact lens only one in, and it was the one for far vision. So my eyes, I'm still not.
Right back.
Yeah, go ahead. Mark's got to go and I'll be back. I need to get something to drink, so he's got to come back and then I'll leave. But anyway, I have an email here I'll read. It's from Art, who was writing about the shuttle, and I've wondered about this too. So maybe us together we can solve this. They say that 6 or 7 of the Challenger astronauts are apparently still around. And we've all seen the meme with a picture of them back in the day of the Challenger. And then today, what they look like as they are all working at universities, teachers and lawyers and such, different jobs in universities. So Art asks, why hasn't someone pulled a Bart Sabrell and found these people and gone to interview them? So that's a fantastic challenge.
I'm a little surprised nobody has done that yet.
So it makes me wonder, here it is, me being a conspiracy theorist, thinking about a conspiracy and a conspiracy. What if that's false information that we've been putting out, that those Challenger astronauts are still alive and these people really are them? What if one of us went to the universities and found these people and it really wasn't them and they didn't have those same names? We're only relying on a meme that everyone's seen.
No. I've watched some follow-up videos on it. There's video of it. It's not just snapshots. These people are out there.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Can you tell us where that video is?
Here's the trouble. One, it's confrontational on a personal nature because you're bringing up something to them. It's like, hey, I think you're actually not your dead brother's,
Well, you could just say, like, let's just say you and I go. Okay, I've got my cell phone. Very not like a giant camera and like a crew with microphones. We just go, we find them and go, okay, excuse me. And they're like, yes. You really look a lot like, and tell them who they look like and see what they say.
Well, you can only, out of the 6 people, you can only do it to 4 of them, because 2 of them claim to be the Japanese guy, and I'm not being weird or racist. The Japanese guy and the black guy are supposedly twins.
Yeah, what are the odds there?
Well,
then we've got the Kelly brother.
Technically, Scott Kelly does have a twin brother.
He does, and I know people, because I live in Houston and they're kind of in and around this area, who have met them both in person. So I believe that.
Oh yeah.
And they look different too. They're twins, but they definitely look different.
Yeah, it does fit the protocol that you would use, meaning, and you've heard me say this before, which is, if the space program is completely fake, you're never, ever, ever, there are no astronauts sitting on the top of rockets, ever. You never put people on a pile of liquid explosives and then set a match to it. For exactly that reason. Well, because if something goes wrong, and you've seen all the rocket footage from the 50s on up, we blew up rockets one after the other after the other.
We do it now with SpaceX. So
yeah, we're blowing up rockets all the time. So if something goes wrong, what do you do with those people? Right? Because technically they were on it. And in the 80s, remember, there was no internet. So witness relocation, not as hard as it is now.
Well, I think killing them would have been better. I mean, I don't mean that I want people to be killed, but if you,
I agree.
Loose lips sink ships, as they say.
Believe me, Capricorn 1 scenario, I totally agree with it. Except even in Capricorn 1, the movie, they weren't going to kill him unless something went wrong. And then, yeah, when the data showed that their Mars craft had crashed, it's like, well, what are we going to do with them? The thing is, these people are useful, and there's a certain investment you made for them. I don't know. I mean, you take your average Air Force officer training. How much money does it cost to get a person to that level?
Right. And all that training before they're let in on the secret is real training for real things.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. These guys can do some real stuff. And so you got to look at them it's like, I know it sounds callous, but you have to look at them from a dollar return on investment. It's like, okay, what can we use them? What are the odds that something will go wrong? They didn't know, but as the internet came on gradually, I mean, really the Challenger thing that's been out in the news, that snapshot, so it hasn't been that long. So up until now, they've lived very productive lives. They got out of, they became professors. They're all very successful, not wildly successful, but very successful. So
sort of successful under the radar. They're not, they don't have their own TV show or something like that.
No. They're not in the public eye.
Right.
So if something, and that could be part of the condition, it's like, don't make yourself, a media icon in any way, shape, or form. So I don't know. Yeah, if somebody wants to pin them down, you're going to have to be real delicate about it. And I don't know how exactly here's the thing. In fact, some of the people I've been talking to, it's going to take a full-blown production team to do it, because you're going to need to go in there under an official capacity and say, look, here's what it is. We'd like to interview you professionally. And if they turn it down, they turn it down. But then it turns into one of those documentaries, you know how it goes, where the news media says, well, we tried to interview such and such, but they declined our request.
Now, speaking of astronauts, I was sent this email by a guy's name is Orion Tech. And he sent me some interesting background on astronaut mind wipes. And those aren't something that you can find in your local grocery store. Mind wipes, use two if you really want to forget. But no, nothing like that. But astronaut mind wipes, like as in clearing the information out of their mind. And I sometimes think they are using some kind of brainwashing. And then everyone says, no, they just pay them lots of money and they shut up.
You don't
either.
You don't have to nowadays. It's not like the old days. You don't have to get that extreme, because there's always side effects. With anything, there's side effects. All you have to do is make them sign a non-disclosure. That's all. You don't have to pay them that much. I mean, yeah, you pay them something, but nothing real extra. Say, look, you're going to be simulating this. It's going to be for instructional purposes only. You are not allowed to ask questions about it. You are not allowed to talk about it. And that's it. Your conscience, and at that point, their conscience is more or less clean. So,
That's true.
but they do make mistakes every once in a while, like when they say, "Oh yeah, we're flying over such and such part of the United States," or their harnesses are screwed
that
up.
makes a lot of sense. That they tell you don't tell them it's because the Earth is flat or because we feel there's the creator and nothing, none of that.
The Apollo astronaut, I will say this: you can criticize the powers that be all you want, but they do learn from their mistakes. They look at what they've done in the past, like, yeah, we're not doing that again. With the Apollo astronaut program, they made the mistake, of course, I can't prove it, of fessing up and saying, okay, you're going to fake it. Here's why. But I think the recruitment program, them wanting to be heroes, I think that was all completely legitimate. And that was, you're going to be astronauts. And it really was like Capricorn 1, where they thought they were going to be astronauts all the way up to the last minute. Then they bring them in a room. They say, okay, here's the deal. And it's like, look, you're going to be heroes. You're going to go have parades. You're going to do all this stuff. But it didn't happen. And it's not going to happen. And, if you want to make up a lie and say, we don't have the technology to do it yet, or blah, 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 you can do that all you want. But I think they told him, it's like, it's not what we think. There's something really wrong. Then it turns into like a Twilight Zone episode. But the point is that the reality of it was too big for them. And kind of like, I don't want to pick on Matt too much, but if you have this rattling around in your head, something this big for a number of years, it's going to do something to you. And in their case, to deal with it, most of them became recluses. They crawled into bottles. They were the exact opposite of what we thought astronauts could be. And so future astronauts, they limited what they told them. It's like, okay, you're going to fake it. You're going to be happy. It's no different than, and I don't want to necessarily get him off the hook, but NDT, which was, you've got to make them at least seem convincing on camera. You don't want, like with any actor, anybody that's going to be on stage, you don't want them to be so overly distracted by something else that the truth, give the FDR saying, and that is, tell the people only the amount of truth that they can handle.
So you're saying NDT, I know you don't like saying his name, doesn't know. I don't think he knows either. He just knows
not everything. I don't think he knows, because because you want him to be energetic. You want him to be enthusiastic and inspirational and charismatic on stage. And you want him to look the part. This sort of topic, look what it does to flat earthers. I mean, this topic,
tearing each other to shreds daily online. Yeah.
This topic drives people. I mean, it blows apart families. It blows apart marriages, because
it also brings people together in a beautiful way, though, too.
It does. It absolutely does. But it has the potential, because the energy's got to go somewhere. And for the Apollo astronauts, they didn't know what to do with it. They turned it into something else, and honestly made Bart Sabrell's career, because they became just he couldn't decipher it either. Nobody could. It's like, why are they acting like this? And he only got part of it. It's like, well, because they didn't go to the moon. Yeah, but why didn't they go to the moon? Mm-hmm. Now we know.
That funny thing happened on the way to the moon, and Astronauts Gone Wild, Bart Sabrell's work, were very instrumental in leading me actually to you, Mark, and the Flat Earth Clues, and then to everything else. Yeah. But, you can't look at either of those two pieces if you're an inquiring mind without going the next step and thinking, but wait a minute. Well, what does this mean?
You can't now. You could then, because that was back in 2004, yes, I believe. Mm-hmm. So back then, and again, I watched it and I was fascinated. And Bart Sabrell he's not shy about saying it. He hates flat Earth.
Yeah. DITRH and I interviewed him. The interview is still on my channel. We used to do a podcast on another network called Truth is Stranger Than Lies. And we tried to convince him in that podcast. We didn't have any luck, but it was nice. And he was nice, he was a nice guy, but he does not like flat Earth. That's for sure.
Well, and no offense to him. I mean, yeah, I don't like his journalism tactics, but I get it, because it puts his work on a whole different tier now. And it's like, dude, you had to have figured out eventually. It's like, why did you find the tapes? How did the tapes get to you? Where they were simulating the Earth from low Earth orbit. Why would they do that?
Right.
And that's because it was the last ditch effort of the global reinforcement tool. Well, I used to say last ditch effort, but now I think that SpaceX is the last ditch effort because of what they've been doing.
or not doing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this email I got from Orion Tech says it's an interview that we all could watch on YouTube. It's got David Wilcox in it and Corey Good and John Lear. And according to Orion Tech, it's got information that he's never seen before. And it's called Pushing the Limits of Disclosure with John Lear. So you could look that up on YouTube, write it down and then go look at it next time that you've got some spare time on your hands, or listen to it. Pushing the Limits of Disclosure with John Lear. And John Lear, he's been involved in UFO research and stuff. So,
Nice.
Of course, Lear jets. So interesting. So take a look at that. It has to do with astronauts. So I want to say a shout out to Mr. Moot. Mr. Moot is still around, still a flat earther, and he's still doing videos. And he's still doing videos. So just wanted to say that because Mr. Moot has been very, very kind to myself in this show. He made our very first annual Flatty Award himself, the actual award, kind of like an Oscar award or a Grammy Award statue type thing. And I wanted him to know that even if we haven't done anything, I haven't interviewed him, I only did once, just a person from the past that I still consider to be a friend of the show. So wanted to let people know Mr. Moot is a Christian flat earther who wears what he calls the armor of God, and other people might call a costume, but it doesn't really matter because he's got some really cool videos and he's a nice guy. So, hey, right?
If he came, not to drop any hints anywhere to anybody, but if he came to the conference in costume, he'd probably be interviewed more than anybody.
Yeah, that's probably true. In fact, he doesn't like it being called a costume, though. He's going to come and punch you.
What is it?
Well, he likes to call it the armor of God, not a costume.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I mean, that's fine and all. I mean, the media is going to call it a costume.
This is true.
But
must respect the Moot.
Sorry. I mean, look, if he shows up at a cosplay thing,
right?
Then, but I get it.
Yeah. A bunch of other emails. I will get to a few of them in a moment and talk about them and what's going on. You received a picture, speaking of SpaceX, that was sent to you earlier today. Can you tell us about that picture?
Yeah, it was by a listener, and I'm going to put it in my slideshow if I can.
I can show it. You tell.
Yeah,
I'll do the show.
A guy who went to the SpaceX lobby, one of the SpaceX things. I'm trying to find it because I trashed it. I mean, I put a copy of it,
and I will talk and hold my phone.
But anyway, it was one of the displays, and it said SpaceX, and it had it was a time-lapse rocket footage when it went perfectly horizontal.
Exactly. Look at it making that arc.
I thought was also interesting was the bridge, because it was it was above a bridge that also was going to have no curve when it was being built over the water.
This is some flat Earth proof right here. Thanks, SpaceX.
Yeah. Love the fact that flat earthers are going to the SpaceX thing. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
so I'm including that in the slideshow. That's really fun.
That is so cool.
I get pictures and videos sent to me. In fact, I put up a whole bunch of videos just in the last couple hours. People are just sending me stuff like Corey Admonson, the guy that's doing the flat earth coffee tables. He sent me a whole other set of pictures. So I created because I'm going to get mine here in another couple weeks. He's gonna ship one up.
Oh, you're getting one made?
Yep.
Now, is it going to be going to you and Melody's place that you're staying in?
Yes, it's going to be going up here to Canada.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's a 3-foot by 4-foot coffee table. And there's pictures. You can look at it right now. There's like maybe like 5 or 6 different versions, but mine is on the video. It's called Flat Earth Coffee Tables, March 2017. I just put it up by Corey Edmondson. All his information's on there. And it's cool. I mean, they're not cheap. I mean, they're decent coffee tables, but the shipping, to ship any piece of furniture is not cheap at all. So that one's gonna be up. But also I got sent the Jeopardy thing. You probably saw that.
Oh yes.
I got sent 2 different versions of that.
And I've received emails from people who were actually watching Jeopardy when it happened, when one of the contestants was asked a question, and it was what was the nature of the
category? The category was weird, and you can watch this because I just put up a new version of it that broke it all down. It was called Jeopardy Contestant Makes Flat Earth Mistake, the NDT Inspired Ending. So the category was called The Word is Flat.
Yeah, the
which
word.
is weird. Yeah, this weird, right? So it was great. So we got to 1,000. If you remember Jeopardy, of course, when you got to 1,000, you know what the $1,000 one was for the word is flat. You know what the word was?
No.
Oblate.
Okay, come on. They are toying with us.
Was where it's flattened at the poles. Could not make that up if I tried. So that's on there in the NDT inspired ending. So it's about 30 seconds longer than the original, and I put a little funny thing at the end.
And isn't it Alex Trebek, the host?
Yeah, he's still the host after 743 years.
Exactly. And he said, the contestant said the world is flat. The
world's like, no, the
world is not flat. Word.
Yeah, the world's not flat. It's like, well, yeah, but it's a weird category. Why would they say the word is flat? Who came up with that category? Right,
exactly. That's not a normal category.
And why is the $1,000 word based on an oblate spheroid, and it's called oblate?
Right. And who uses the word oblate? I've never used that word ever till Flat Earth came along, or spheroid. Yeah. It's not commonplace talk. I want to say hello in chat to Robbie D of Celebrate Truth. Also, Ginger Sugarbush is here. And keep in mind, I'm reading this with the wrong contact in my eye, so it's like I have no contacts on at all. And I'm doing pretty good. Everything kind of looks double. DITRH says echo, echo, echo. So do we have an echo? Somebody say in chat if there's an echo or if he means something else.
I don't hear an echo. Do you hear an echo?
No.
I mean, if there is, I can use headphones, but
no, I don't think there is.
Never had an echo
somebody say if we have an echo or if DITRH was just joking about something.
Yeah, don't mess with us.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless we're repeating ourselves, being redundant, saying the same thing over and over.
Hello to Mike. Flatbird. Curved Water Music says no echo. Everyone's saying no echo. FPV Angel. Hello. Stan Smith. Hello. Cathesius, not Cathexis, is here. I think I said hello to Dave Hinkle as well, and Chris Topher. And I think I said hello to Israel Adams. All is one now. Zoe of Be Here in Love just popped in. I already said hello to Shane Corning, I guess. The Ultimate Warrior is here. Alan C. here. Ahoy. Shill Lovers is here. So I don't know. Yeah, no echo.
Does he love us or hate us? Exactly. I've got a guy who's trolling on a regular basis. He's called Jesus Saves.
Oh, Jesus Saves. Yes, that person. Yes, they do some serious trolling.
But at the same time, he goes, no, don't block me. He goes, I'm still subscribed to you. I really like you. It's like, so you just troll for the fun of it? What are you doing?
Jesus Saves is your biggest fan.
Apparently.
I Am is here. And who else? The Driss 567 is here as well. Flat Earth Josh Guy as well. Bill Keith, Kevin Vina, Gertrude Fungal Wanker.
Fungal Wanker?
It's a fungal infection, and then there's some level of anyway, whatever.
Is that a cousin of Engelbert?
I think so. Pale Queens is here. Dorhe Daka. RJ says she never mentions me. No, I don't, RJ. Oh, never RJ. I've never said the name RJ or the letter RJ ever before.
Should we keep saying it? That's where the echo comes in. RJ.
So, RJ. Nora, No One's Flower is here. Candy Franklin. And I think I said hello to Vlad of the channel Flat Still Earth. He had a couple other channels, but now it's Flat Still Earth. And that's a channel that you should subscribe to. I spent about an hour or two talking with him on Skype the other day. He's a really nice guy. Let's see what else. The 72nd Human is here. Jamie Ferguson, Wild Man Jim 62, Flat Earth Flip, and RJ says, see, she doesn't talk about me. Sky Dancer, Flat Earth Sub Genius is here. And that's Dan Falkenbach, who was on last night, and he was eating bread with artichoke dip while doing a video and fell down and almost spilled the food on the ground. That's the kind of thing at late night when you're watching videos. That's a great story. What you find. It's what you find. Mr. says, remember me, Patricia? A simple hello, Mr. Okay. Let's see. What else? Official president of the Flat Earth is here. And it's not
There's
Eric
so
Dubé.
many new, some of these are new, right?
Yes.
There's a lot of new people out there.
All is One now says about your favorite troll, Jesus Saves, says that Jesus Saves has many accounts. So
Oh, then I probably know him as something else.
Max Malone is here. Hello, Max. Max says trolls are things of the past.
The Max Malone?
Is that the real Max Malone? Somebody check.
Yeah, I was about to say it is cool. He probably already knows. I literally
you love him.
I mentioned him in my very first Flat Earth video.
Yes, let me look. Max Malone. There is Max Malone, and I'm hitting.
If it is him, tell him to find us more things that other people can't find, because he's really good at that.
His last video was a month ago called "The Heavens Are Above the Flat Earth Realm," and the last one he did previous to that was 2 months ago called "The ISS Does Not Exist Flat Earth." So that is the real Max Malone. Good. It is funny how there are some fake versions of people, and I've been fooled before.
Yeah, I know.
I've been fooled before a few times. One of them was quite a famous fool here live on YouTube. But yeah, when it comes to fake names, I've been fooled a few times as well. And fake people. Nathan Oakley is here as well. Fred Montana. GeoShifter. Woohoo. Hello. I haven't heard from you for a while. And did we mention a guy named RJ?
RJ. You know, I don't think you mentioned him.
I don't think so either.
We shouldn't talk about him.
And just hello to everybody. Flat Earth Flip says I'm new. So you're right. There are new people in the chat. Del Croy is here. Vinny is in here as well. And
Vinny.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much it. There's a bunch of other people too, but it's kind of hard for me to read at the moment. So I'm gonna take a little.
I'm impressed. So when I go into, because I like going into Flat Earth and setting the filter to 1 week. Do you know what I noticed?
Do that and I get something to drink. For some reason, because I went to the gym right before we went live, and of course I took a shower, so I smell nice and clean. I need to get some water. Can you talk? And I will. I
don't know if I can buffer you until then.
Do you have the ability to actually talk without anybody holding your hand, Mark? Let's test it out.
I'll try. While Patricia is gone, this is now the Mark Sargent Show. And what we're doing is we're just going into YouTube. You guys can follow along if you want. We're going to type in Flat Earth and set the filter to 1 week. And what do you notice about this week? I think that's different from others. And that is we're starting to see Joe Rogan in more than one channel. So I'm starting to see his secondary channels, because Joe Rogan has, you guys, some of you may or may not know this, he has a massive YouTube presence, a massive internet presence. For a guy that's been out of acting for some time now, he has a whole bunch. He's very influential when it comes to podcasts. So at the very top of the list, I see the Joe Rogan University fan channel. That has 113,000 subscribers. Pretty good. You scroll down. Oh, there's the Joe Rogan fan page. And both of these are covering Joe Rogan and Lawrence Krauss on Flat Earth and conspiracy theories. The Joe Rogan fan page has 101,000 subscribers. And then if you keep scrolling down, you'll see the Joe Rogan University fan channel again. And he's going, Joe Rogan talks Bigfoot updates, Flat Earth and the Ice Wall. And of course, remember, that fan channel has 113,000 subscribers. And these are secondary. These are level 2 and level 3 channels for Joe Rogan. He's one of our biggest advocates right now, and he hates Flat Earth. And all he's doing is, again, it's what he's doing now is very obvious to anyone that's paying attention, which is he's coming on and he's bringing up Flat Earth to anyone who's willing to listen. So he just brings on different guests and he comes at it sideways. He does what we always tell people to do, and that is bring it up like it's a weird topic. Yo, man, have you seen what's happening on the internet? This weird Flat Earth stuff. I think these guys are a bunch of nut jobs. What do you think? It's straight out of Flat Rainbow Taxi Chemtrail guy.
Mm-hmm. Do you think Joe Rogan is on our side?
Yep.
Stealth-wise?
Yep. He's totally on our side. He's playing, but contractually he cannot say that he's on our side. So I've lost count of how many different shows he's saying, oh, I'll never do a Flat Earth show. Fine, I'll never do a Flat Earth show, but you're just going to keep bringing it up over the course of 20 shows now to different guests. It's like he's fishing. He brings people in and he lets them run. It's like, oh, Flat Earth piece of crap, like Joe Krause. Or was it Joe? I'm sorry, not Joe Krause. What's this guy's name?
RJ?
No. I don't think it's RJ.
I'm just joking.
Yeah, Lawrence Krauss.
Lawrence
Krauss was gone, and Lawrence Krauss went off on it. Not as bad as that giant whale of a man archaeologist guy that was ripping Eric a new one. But
with the multicolored hair.
But now he's putting it on his second and third channels. He doesn't have to do that. Is he doing it for the hits? I don't think he really cares, but he gets more exposure that way. And from any producer's standpoint, he's getting lots of email traffic, lots of controversy, and that's good for him. That increases his ratings, that increases his presence. So, I mean, look, I literally Flat Earth 1 week, he's in there 3 out of the first top 10.
Yes,
Joe Rogan's in
good.
And we didn't even have to do this. He did this himself. We didn't have to replicate anything.
So it doesn't really matter, good or bad. Gets talked about.
Any publicity is good publicity. Right. And if Joe wants to keep going on, I'd really love it if he'd bring somebody down to Los Angeles to talk about this. But I don't know. He's already said he won't. Now, would he do it via phone? And I don't think it'd be just a one-on-one. I think he'd probably bring in somebody to go against it. Although I don't know who it would be. Maybe that's what he's doing right now. He's getting people. He's talking to his friends and he's sizing them up, going, you know what? Maybe this person could go up against. Maybe he's trying to test the waters to see what they know. Can they convince him that it's not flat? If they can sound somewhat convincing, maybe they can go toe to toe with Jaron or me or
DITRH
or DITRH. Take your pick. Everybody.
Many good people.
Jake, if he ever does do the Howard Stern thing, if it ever happens, everybody. The great thing about Flat Earth is that the arguments are cyclical, and people know the routines. It does not take long to get the basics down to where so many people now can dare I say preach the word. They know the chapter and verse, and people say, "Oh, you're turning into religion." It's like, well, no, I'm not, but there are some parallels there too.
There's a lot of people who don't want to be associated with their possibility, among the many possibilities, that there's a dome, because they say that keeps us trapped within the earth, and that's just like the prison of the ball. But I don't think talking about a dome is bad, because we don't know. It's just like talking about an endless plane. We don't know. These are all amazing possibilities, and there's some things that lead one to believe all of them. So keep an open mind.
There's two reasons why I don't lean towards the no dome theory. And does that mean that I don't think, some people say, well, it's an infinite plane once you get outside of our pocket, if you want to call it a pocket, at the very least we can call it a pocket, a puddle, a pond, whatever it is.
Yeah, the place we know where we live, and the place where we know and all the rest, right?
So could it go on for a long ways? Sure, but there's two problems. One is the word infinite. Not knocking anyone that uses infinite in their title. But if you use the word infinite, people, and we all know this since we were children, people literally cannot get their head around the word infinite. You can say infinite all you want, and forever and eternity, blah, 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 and all the versions of it. But it goes on forever. And the mind cannot go there. The mind literally cannot box it in. We box things in so that we can get our hands around it. That's the first thing.
Even as children, when somebody would tell you about death, and you're dead, you die, and it's forever, or these things that you're told when you're very young, and then you're laying in bed looking at the ceiling at night when you're supposed to be sleeping, and you're thinking forever. For eternity, what is that? And our minds couldn't wrap around it at a young age, and certainly can't the older we get.
So I mentioned, there's two reasons why I mentioned the globe, or the globe. Back in the day, did I tell you? No. This
show brought to you by Alzheimer's and mind wipes.
No, the back. I was going to go into my back when thing again. So the reason I talk about the dome, one is because it makes it easier for people to understand. You got to remember, the mouth breathing troglodytes that are out there, they have a hard time with any advanced concepts. Look, I didn't even bring up math. I cannot tell you the amount of times that I bring up 8 inches per mile squared and people just glaze over because they revert back to 8th grade algebra. It's like, man, I don't know what that means.
I'm not a big fan of those things either. I've never.
I know.
I was a mathematician. That's not my bag. I'm more of a involved in the community person.
There you go. So bringing up math, It does not help you. Bringing up the word infinite does not help you. So the dome helps in that aspect. But the other one, and this one's more physical, is that if you don't have a dome, a structure, a firmament,
that could be a ceiling, that could be a plasma, right? Whatever.
There you go. Whatever it's made out of, whether it's a force field, a frequency, a heavy element, a heavy water, a band of radiation that we don't, whatever it is, it doesn't really matter. The problem is if you don't have that, you as a flat earther then have to deal with the atmosphere problem, which the globe has to deal with, which is if there is a vacuum of space and you have an atmosphere, what's keeping the vacuum of space from ripping the atmosphere off?
And now they're saying something from the sun is doing it. That's what they're saying.
Something from the sun is keeping the atmosphere on?
Yeah, like something from the sun. I only half read this.
On all sides, both hot and cold, night and day?
Well, of course, it's just lies, so it's not really going to make sense under scrutiny. But
the point is, if you don't have a dome, you're going to have to deal with that. And we already know there's no clear-cut answer for it. So then one of your problems is also a globe problem. And that I won't do. I'm not going to share an issue with a globe. Everything that I go down the road, it's even when they talk about gravity, people, I will, that's the only part I will even sort of mesh with globalists when they say, like NDT will say that we can't tell you what gravity is, we can only tell you what it does. Same thing with flat earth. We can't tell you what it is either. We can only tell you what it does. I mean, I can say molecular magnetism all day long, but it's the only thing similar that I will share with a globe. The atmosphere, no.
Why do globe believers fully accept NDT's statement about that they can't tell you what gravity is, they only can tell us what it does, and they won't accept what we say when they ask us things like, how come you don't fall off the edge, or show us a map of the flat earth? Why can't we just say we can't tell you exactly what it is, but we can only tell you that is what it is?
Because
it doesn't work both ways, does it?
Because science had a 500-year head start, and they would never lie to us.
They want us to have all the answers right now. Yeah. And and really unfair.
The science thing, in fact, was something I noticed the other day where, again, I had missed it, and that was the whole core of the Earth cross-section. It didn't even occur to me until I started looking at it that in most of those drawings of the Earth's cross-section where you go from red to orange to yellow to white, they're all perfectly the same size. They're all equally spaced apart. The yellow band is as thick as the white band, which is as thick as everything is evenly spaced apart. And it's like, wait a minute, how would it be evenly spaced apart? How would you even know that? And two, why would it be like that?
It wouldn't even make sense, because if we've only been able to dig down 8 miles, okay, and that's what we've been told, so let's just at this point assume that is true. So that's to a level at which they've measured on the bands, right? So that's 8 miles. So that means that every space is 8 miles. And how many pieces are there till we get to the center of the Tootsie Roll Pop?
What they're saying is like every section, and you can look this up, every section seems to be, I don't know, like 1,000 miles thick.
Oh, I see.
And it's like, but they're all the same. Like that one's 1,000 miles, that one's 1,000 miles, that one's 1,000 miles. There's your center. That's it. We're done.
That's what the Big Bang does. It makes things explode out of nothing and then creates perfect 1,000-mile pieces on a globe.
Yeah.
The Big Bang's pretty awesome, isn't it?
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Last week I told you about the remote control SpaceX rumor that's been floating?
Yes. What have you learned more about that?
Nothing.
And fill everyone in case they say there will be no pilots on the SpaceX flight. It will be 2 civilians, and it will be run by kind of like remote control.
Like a drone.
Yeah.
If they do this, my prediction, if they do this, and I can't even believe that I'm considering this because I shouldn't even have to make a prediction because it's so ridiculous. I mean, honestly, if you release this story to the public and say, oh yeah, these astronauts are going to fly on their own to the moon and back, the general public, I can't imagine, would swallow that. They would say, the average person on the street.
Yes, they would. They've swallowed all of it. All of us swallowed all of it too. Think about it. All of our lives.
There's some things you're going too far with. Sort of like, I mean, the average person, here's the reason. Because
a rover on Mars. We believe that.
It has negative connotations to it. Negative, meaning it's the lack of control part that people would have a hard time with. We know full well that we can remote control planes from takeoff to landing, right? But
subways, I mean, there's lots
well,
of
subways,
things.
yeah, that's one thing. But remember, that's a two-dimensional thing.
Mm-hmm.
You're just traveling, on rails. But if we have planes, we have the technology now to take off a 747 or 777, and from beginning to end with passengers, no problem, right? We can do this, and we can do this almost flawlessly. And people are going, "Holy smokes!" It's like the theme from Terminator. That's the whole Skynet thing, but it's a whole other thing. So, but people try to get those people. You tell people that it's like one thing. You tell those same people, yeah, your next plane's going to be on that. Your next plane's going to not have pilots. People would think very, very hard before they got on the plane, because it's that you don't want a total lack of control. So if nobody wants to be on a plane, just an airplane. If something goes wrong in that cockpit, that there's no one there for backup, no human backup.
Especially the autopilot like they had in the movie Airplane, that blow up one.
There you go. The inflatable doll pilot. Absolutely brilliant. Nobody wants to be on that plane. Nobody. You just don't. I mean, we could fire all the pilots right now. We'd probably have a pretty good track record, but people would be scared. It'd be a whole new level of fear of flying, whatever that phobia is called, because people would freak out. People that would be, in fact, who have flown a lot of miles, right? Enough miles that I used to sell my miles to people.
And you've flown on your brother-in-law's private plane too.
I've flown my private. He built that plane. In fact, I've flown in a plane that was hand built by my brother-in-law. Not like a hayseed brother-in-law. And actually, he was actually really good at this.
I met him too. So
you did meet him. And he took that plane and flew my sister down to Boulder, Colorado to meet me. Right. That's confidence. They were thinking of actually flying up around Alaska and down to Japan. At one point. That's the confidence he had. If I was told that I was going to get into a jumbo jet and there was no pilots, I would probably be digging my nails into the seat the entire time. Unless I came up with some new justification. It's like, well, if it happens, it happens. That's the only thing I would be able to do.
All of our lives, we used to be being flown around without a pilot. Think about it. On the spinning globe, spinning around, but also shooting through space. At any moment, an asteroid could hit us, or another planet could crash. Wow.
The fear that's never, you're right, that's never been, I mean, NASA will try to remind us every once in a while. It's like, oh, a meteor came within X number of miles of us. Boy, are you lucky. And they do that literally.
And it was around Halloween, and it was in the shape of a Halloween pumpkin.
Oh, and the Christmas meteor, and now you watch some April Fool's meteors show up now. Although I don't think they're allowed to do it on April Fool's. So anyway, the point is that if you tell the general public that you're going to send private astronauts around the moon and back, their first impulse would be, like me, if you believe the story at face value, like, what, those people aren't going to actually get on that thing, right? I don't care how much money you spend. I mean, then the money, here's the thing, the reason why it's so ridiculous is the money they paid for the trip becomes irrelevant. The only thing that becomes relevant is their safety. Honestly, if you have no pilots, I wouldn't pay a dime. I wouldn't go for free if there were no pilots. And these guys are paying supposedly millions of dollars.
Why do they have to pay money to go? You know what? They should be getting paid.
Oh, because if you don't charge money for something like that, then it comes down to who knows who. Then it becomes a politics issue.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Who gets to go? Oh, anyway, I'm sorry, I missed the prediction part, which is if these guys go without a pilot, they are going to turn it into an Apollo 13 remake. And that's what you and I are going to see on television. The cameras are going to fail, the exterior cameras, and all you're going to see is interior shots of these two people. Will they make it? It'll be Apollo 13 all over again.
I have these nail clippers, John. Let's use them to mend the thing that
people will be riveted to their sets.
Yeah.
People will be, but you can't do it. It is too, one, it's an Apollo 13 remake. Mm-hmm. So people going, wait, why have I seen this before? Oh, right. It was actually a movie in 1995, 6. Somebody look up when Apollo 13 was. I can't remember. It was 95 or 96. Plus there'd be too many plot holes. that what's going to be disabled, what's going to work, what's not going to work, how are they going to make it without any training?
They're going to fix it with chewing gum and nail clippers. I mean, what are they going to have on them? What kind of training will they have to fix things?
Good point. I am hoping, for the love of God, I am hoping that if they're going to do it, remember I said you're going to have to take at least 2 other people if you're gonna do this. Because remember, we're still talking about a real thing here, where they say
how far away time-wise do we have till this event doesn't happen that they say is going to happen?
Less than a year.
Wow. Well, maybe Flat Earth will do something between now and then bigger.
Well, you know what?
People really suspicious.
Well, you know what? This year we're going to have some cool stuff leading up before the conference, which is, remember, we've got the Google X Prize Space Challenge, which is happening right now.
Right. And we've already talked about that, and everyone's talked about it, where we kind of think only one will
supposedly make it, and they'll beat back crappy pictures, and it'll just be enough to win your 20 million.
Exactly.
And it's one American, Japanese, European, Indian, and Israeli.
So it's going to be either one Israeli or one American, which amounts to the same in some cases.
Yes. I would think that one of those two would make it and beam back the pictures and win the 20.
Mark our words. That's what's going to happen. We've been right with some of our predictions. We really have.
Yeah.
We did these.
Yeah. And 2017 is exceeding my expectations so far. I mean, last year exceeded my expectations with the view counts. And I mean, right now, if you sort by upload date, it's like, maybe it just keeps going up and up now. It's like 16.6, which is huge. I mean, again, why producers are not, jumping at this.
They have. I mean,
but not to where they're falling all over each other.
Right.
Do it.
Right.
I've got one thing in the works right now, and I'm still crossing my fingers on it.
Can you tell us about it?
Only that it's UK based.
Ooh.
So it'd be Europe, and it's actually similar to the one. There was a group that got a hold of me back at the end of 2015. Shocker. That's a German group that wanted to do, and they all pretty much they all have the same idea in their heads, which is you base a show around flat earthers that go around to different cool spots in different countries and do tests.
So why would they be, if they're UK based, getting a guy from America?
Oh, because most of the flat earthers right now are US based.
There's a ton in the UK.
There are, but there are more here. And I'm sure. Look. I mean, who knows if Dave Murphy's talking? He was the one that got that television spot out in Estonia.
Yes, exactly.
So I mean, there's others out there. Darren Nesbitt wouldn't surprise me if all of a sudden he was snapped up and grabbed for some UK thing. He's already doing public speaking engagements now for it. He's getting back into it, which is great.
Somebody from a reality show, it might not be a reality show, a show producer contacted me and asked me a couple questions about things just about a week ago, and is in contact with Nathan Oakley right now. I don't know what's going to come of that, but
it's only, you and I have talked about this. It's only a matter of time. You cannot, if it generates, a topic can only generate so much popularity before somebody wants to turn it into a revenue generating thing.
Now, a lot of people think that's a bad idea if any of that happens, and that anybody that would be involved in it would be a sellout, and they'd be doing it for money, and they'd be in with the man, and they'd be ruining flat earth.
As long as it stays on topic, I don't mind doing it. For example, when Joe Rogan was offered his Joe Rogan Questions Everything on the Sci-Fi Network, they turned him right away. And remember, they had him recant every bad thing he ever said about NASA in the first episode.
So if they can do that to Joe Rogan, why couldn't they do it to any flat earther who does any sort of TV show, reality show, etc.?
Because this is exponentially bigger than flat Earth. I'm sorry, than any other conspiracy. Flat Earth is so big that how could you even turn somebody to, what were you going to do? You're going to grab Jaron and have him go up in the Northwest and talk about Bigfoot for a year? Yeah, he might do it, but he's not going to give up his flat Earth stuff. So as long as and here's the reason why it's got to go this way, is that once you've seen what happens when just a few celebrities mention what was the line? Oh God, was a Chris Rock line? One of his old skit where he was he was talking about gun rights, where he's going, gun manufacturers, blah, blah, blah. They can make guns all day long. Nobody questions. He goes, black rapper says gun, uses the word gun, congressional hearing.
Yeah.
Right? That's the same thing with flat earth. A few celebrities just drop the words into the mainstream, the mainstream media pool, and people go out of their freaking minds. It's like piranha, just throw a piece of meat into the water. People just go freaking ballistic. If there was a single show, that's all it takes, a single show. What it does is it gives the rest of mainstream media license
to go and
talk about it as much as they want. Just keep pouring on. Again, you and I have had this discussion where it's like we'll just call the show Flat Earthers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is Flat Earthers the greatest? Is it the most polarizing, controversial show ever? Does Flat Earthers fall flat, or is it sheer genius?
Right.
All we know is people can't stop talking about, because that's what
I would be tuning in to every single show. I mean, I don't even watch TV. I'd have to get TV for it or find a way to work around the system to watch it.
It outrages people to such a degree. You would have people tuning in just so they could pull aside their friends by the collar and say, look what the hell I'm watching.
Look at these clowns.
Look at these clowns.
They've got a point.
Yeah. And then, so 8 people in the room, 2 of them is going, hey, this is some interesting stuff. The other people like, are you insane? And then, the discussions would be so heated. It'd be great.
Chris Rock just made a comment in chat. He says Nathan Oakley should get a real life Flat Earth show with cameras in the house on cable. He says, I'd do it, but my wife would kill me.
Nice.
It's true, because if there was an in-home sort of Flat Earth show, well, number one, it would be quite boring. That's why they insert the fake drama in reality shows.
Yeah, because most of them are boring.
Right.
Cooking shows are boring.
Yeah, most of us in our regular life, I mean, go to the gym, go get a coffee, go meet with friends, go to work, and, cook your dinner, wash your laundry. Like
even was it the Real Estate Channel or wherever the channel, different house hunting shows. They just insert, are we under budget? Are we over budget? Oh, look, we just opened up this wall. There's a pipe issue. And full well, in a lot of cases, there aren't any issues, but the producers have to.
They have to insert it. Yes.
They have to just look, they have learned, we have come, the formulas from back in the day, and this from MTV's, they were the ones that started it. I'm not going to count Cops, because that's a whole nother thing. MTV's Real Life. It's like, let's take
the real world.
Real world. Let's take a bunch of kids, throw them in a house, insert alcohol, make sure they're completely polarizing from all different
definitely
walks.
Make sure there's a country boy, make sure there's a very religious girl, make sure there's a token black guy, make sure there's a gay guy, and he's got AIDS, and just it's a formula,
and run the cameras 24/7, and it worked. And now the producers, there's some, you can't do that with everything, so now the producers have to write in controversy. Flat Earth, you don't have to do that.
I want to thank everybody for being here. There's so many cool people in chat. Hello, Joy. Hello. The eyes. I need to get the contact lens thing sorted. How many weeks have I been saying that? I just got the brand new lenses 2 days ago, and I was in a hurry and put one in thinking it was the reading one, and it was not. So I have to put them both in. That's
brand new debunker just came on the scene.
Who is it?
Shield of the Sun.
Shield of the Sun.
I know it sounds like an
echo for that.
Shield of the Sun. I'm never going to do that again.
It sounded like that singer. Can't even think of his name right now. Yeah.
That 70s one where Children of the Sun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't. What's the name of forget it.
The band. No one's gonna know it anyway.
Yeah, I know.
But anyway, he's doing a brand new. He's got 30,000 subscribers, and his opening video, debunking flat Earth through the Bible.
Wow.
Have fun with that.
Debunking flat Earth through the Bible. That's an interesting take, because people are always using flat Earth the Bible to prove flat Earth.
He's only got like 5 or 6 things he can bring up. If he brings it, Isaiah 40:22. It's circle of the world, circle of the earth. Come on, man.
What else could he say?
Not much.
God's footstool. He could say God doesn't only sits in lazy boys. I don't know. What could he? No idea.
There's another debunker, godless engineer.
What's with the things with God in the name?
And he's attacking Stinky Cash directly.
Is Stinky Cash still around?
Yeah, but he's not as active.
Does he make videos?
A lot of the videos are out there. You know how many people we've had that'll come on and make like 5-10 videos, and then they'll just kind of, it'll be out of their system for a while, but they're still in it.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's that line from JFK where Joe Pesci, he's like, quit the CIA. You never quit the agency.
Billy Thorpe is the person who sang Children of the Sun. I just looked it up because it was
Billy Thorpe. I had that song. It's a cool song.
I guess so. I'm going to read the lyrics here. People of the earth, can you hear me? Came a voice from the sky on that magical night, and in the colors of 1,000 sunsets, they traveled through the world on a silvery light.
Yeah, it's a UFO song.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Funny. Wonder if it's based on anything like something that happened or he thought happened or something.
Who knows? Who
Interesting.
Yeah.
There's somebody else, Knights of the Round Fable. So that's a YouTuber who disappeared for a while and has just came back. Speaking of that happening, there's a bunch of other people who've gone away and have come back, but we still have never seen Tiger Dan.
It's been over a year now.
What if at FEIC 2017 in Raleigh, all of a sudden striding up on stage, Tiger Dan with the hat?
Well, the thing is, we still don't even know his real name.
True.
We don't. His name's not Dan. That's a Bible verse.
It certainly is.
The whole Tiger Dan thing. I mean, he was mentioned. He was literally the opening. Talk about flattering. Wish I had that. He was the opening video on Daniel Tosh's show, the rap, and he probably doesn't even know. What do you mean? He could be dead. We don't know. Somebody, by the way, recommended me the Potter's Clay recently. The
Potter's Clay. Yeah, I've told you about Potter's Clay too. Subscribe to the Potter's Clay. That's a good channel.
He's been cranking out a whole bunch of stuff.
Dorje Daka. Oh, I never get that right. I should just have it be my signature that I'll always say it wrong. It says Tiger Dan is Tiger Gone, and Bob of Glowbusters said Tiger Dan is Tiger Done. Yeah, it's sad.
Also, like the fact that a fairly big channel, well, big in our world anyway, he's been turning the corner, and you can tell he's really more into flat Earth. You've seen him, Red Pill Philosophy, 170,000 subscribers, and he made a video called "People Who Investigate Flat Earth Are Smarter Than Those Who Blindly Believe It." Now, he still won't say, like a lot of people, well, I'm not a flat earther. You can almost see they're like doing this with their hand when they do this. Oh, whoa, I'm not a flat earther.
Well, it's like, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Not that I believe in Bigfoot or anything. Not that I'm prejudiced. It's always you put the hands up when you make
exactly, which is I think a variation of, and you'll remember this. I'm not a crook.
Exactly, Nixon.
the totally dates us. But the point is that he made a video on that, and then he came out with another video right after that, a follow-up video, because he was catching so much hell because people said, oh, you're a flat earther. He goes, no, I'm saying that people that investigate it. And then he made the second video right after that was called "People Who Investigate Things Are Smarter Than Those Who Don't Investigate."
That's a fact, though.
It is. And that was like, look, take a look and do your own research before you try to rip it to shreds. You can't, this Pandora's box argument. You don't make fun of Pandora's box. You can't. It's like you either looked in it or you didn't look in it. But if you don't look in it, don't make fun of people that looked in it because you don't know what they saw.
I heard Pandora's box was a very popular stripper name. That's what I've heard.
That's really funny. Actually, did you just make that up? I think I told you, and I've said this on various shows, that the cruelest name I ever knew for a girl, real life, her actual name was Charity Bush.
I knew a Crystal Chandelier, but it's more like Chandler.
Her last name was Chandelier, and they actually named her Crystal.
Chandler, but Crystal Chandelier, close enough. Close enough.
That's good.
Yeah, pretty good.
That's good. Well, that was her nickname then?
I don't know what her nickname was, but she was always hanging around. I can't do the drum roll. There you go. Hello to Cat's Eyes and Candy Franklin. Candy Franklin says random. Very much so.
Sorry. I also got to mention, because Wes Stacy from Flat Earth
Wesley's
News.
face, Flat Earth News.
Flat Earth News. He called into the Free Talk Radio thing.
Yes.
So this is funny because this happens to me when I
said he wanted to do a show with you and I, by the way, and I said I'll do it if Mark does it. So.
Oh shoot! Well, we'll do one soon.
Remember one time we did a show with him and it was like
turned into the Blair Witch Project.
Blair Witch Project. It was
oh my god, it was a nightmare. Honestly, all you had to do was insert science fiction movie screaming over his video, and it would have been perfect because the camera was all over the place. It was like he was being chased in a haunted house.
Here's the key to everyone: when you get ready to do a show, do your best to set everything up before you hit the start button.
Yeah, he is a technological nightmare.
But he's a nice guy. Wesley's
a nice guy, but my God, it's so. Oh my God, it's so funny watching him do stuff. Oh, anyway, so anyway, he watched the video where the guy from Utah called into Free Talk Radio.
Yes,
he was talking about Flat Earth, right? And he was watching this, and he thought it was like a live show, but it wasn't. It was a rebroadcast that I just put on my channel. So he's like Skyping me, sending me messages, going, "Dude, I've got him on the line." He goes, "I need you to jump in here right now, back me up." I'm going, "What are you talking about?"
This is recorded.
I go, he's going, the show, I'm calling in right now. I was going, "Dude, that was like show from 2 days ago." I goes, "But I'm talking to him about it now." It's like, "Oh, well, have fun with that." So so I put that on. Anyway, anyone wants to have some fun, if you want to torment a live radio show, because they always put their video broadcasts on YouTube, and then I grab parts of it and use it. Call in Free Talk Live. Their phone number is all over the place on the video itself. It's hilarious. These guys hate Flat Earth. They hate talking about it.
Well, according to there's Wesley who says that's me. He's in our chat. No offense. We meant no offense. We know we love you. Awakened Mind says Flat Earth prediction, August 2017. More than 50% of the population at least entertains the possibility.
Sure.
August.
Sure. Why not? I mean,
that's so soon.
Between Kyrie and Shaq, hundreds of millions of people, were exposed to this thing. And I use, again, that infection word. They were exposed to it because that really what it is. It spreads like an infection. Oh, Felipe Alexander. Loved watching him. He's got 30,000 subscribers. He came on and made his video Flat Earth a year later, and how, what he's gotten from Flat Earth over the last year. And it's great watching, him, back it up. You can tell, and he's completely supremely confident in it. It doesn't matter what the comments say. He's not backing down, which is fantastic.
We have Joy4118 here. Suso Anthony and Je Préfère Flats is here as well. I don't have the correct French pronunciation, but I did my best. Cat's Eyes is here. Hello, Cat's Eyes. Beautiful icon of a cat. I'm always down with that. And that rhymed. Wake the Sheeple is here as well.
My original video of Jimmy Kimmel talking to Shaq was pulled down. It wasn't copied. It wasn't struck or anything.
Wait, why?
Because Disney owns the rights to ABC, and so they're pretty particular about copyright stuff. So they said it's blocked. We're just going to block it. And so what I did was I re-put it up. I mirrored the image. I flipped it. And then I left Kimmel out of the title, because when they'll tell you, and I don't know why YouTube does this, they'll tell you if it was detected or if it was manually detected.
Meaning somebody reported it.
Some intern at Disney, like looking through, all he does is search for, it's how easy is that? Look for anything with the word Kimmel in it, and then just start clicking on it and seeing what it does. And so since I put it up without Kimmel in the title,
no problemo.
No problemo. The other one was gone in 48 hours, even though it already had.
But you didn't get a copyright strike. Though.
No, again, I've only had one strike in my life. That was from George Nori, and that was completely wrong. I had it overturned in 2 seconds.
I want to say hello to Four Eyes to See, and Four Eyes to See has got a really good channel. That's the digit 4, then the word eyes, and then the digit 2, and then C, SEA. So I've mentioned Four Eyes to See before. Nice. Let's see. We've got somebody whose name is Poopy Pie, who writes, "I don't understand why you haven't made it to the big time, Chris," meaning Chris Rock. "Puzzles me why you're not on the radio. You should be touring with REM." You know what? I mean, I think a lot of flat earthers, including Synthetic Dread, who was on earlier, are really fantastic musicians. Zoe of Be Here in Love has got that kind of voice, smoky voice you'd hear over a piano at a cocktail bar. I could just imagine that sort of scenario. So many people have got great voices within Flat Earth. It's, it's a slice of humanity. So we've got everything on there on the Flat Earth.
There's
right
something
here.
for everybody in Flat Earth.
So we've had a great show. We had, I don't know, over 320 people watching live, or
Nice.
just you and I hanging out, talking about Flat Earth. So that's good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's going to be, and look, I mean, look at Glowbusters. They're doing 1,100 a show now.
Oh my gosh, Glowbusters. The amount of people that are viewing that show is, I get chills when right before Glowbusters starts and they play their intro. We don't have an intro song, but I mean, we're not the same kind of show Glowbusters is. Yeah. But when the intro song or intro, is starting to play, I get chills because it's so real and we're all involved, and then everyone's saying hello in chat, and it's exciting. I hope this chat kind of feels like a mini version of that. At least it's a nice place where people are getting together, and I love that.
Well, I think a lot of the people that are watching Glowbusters are watching it because they don't know. They're trying to get into it. They're observing from the outside. It's like
you see people new, like I'm new here. I see that in Glowbusters chat. I've seen that in my chat or our chat here tonight.
A lot of people I think are auditing and saying, "Hey, what's going on here?" Like the waitress at the pub that I was at. She's listening and going, "Wait, what are they saying?" Everyone wants to be part of a cool club. Not to say that Flat Earth is the coolest club in the world, but it certainly is the most interesting.
It is the coolest.
Well, you know what I mean. There's not a lot of Letterman's jackets and
well, it's not fake cool. It's real cool. It's people.
It is real cool. It is the most interesting thing I've ever been a part of, ever. And I've been a part of some interesting things over the years.
It is the most interesting thing I've ever been a part of. It's the thing that caused me to go from a mild-mannered former radio DJ clothing store owner to somebody who's on YouTube talking about conspiracies. It's nothing I ever thought I would do. I never thought I would buy a microphone. All of this is it. I never even considered the shape of the place I lived until all this smacked me in the face. I just lived.
I thought that playing video games for a living was interesting. I thought that being arrested for making explosives on campus was interesting.
Okay, that is interesting.
I thought, but even those things and other things besides that pale in comparison to what the heck is going on, because it's just carrying us along like this giant wave right now. Mm-hmm. And every week, I can't be surprised anymore. I just wake up and it's like when I look at my emails, I scan over all my emails. Like, okay, is anyone pointing out something? Something happened in the last 24 hours that was so cool that I don't want to miss it.
Mm-hmm. That's how it is. Anytime around the clock. Anytime I say the word around, I'm like, well, is that right? Yeah. Anytime you can go to YouTube and there's a live show happening and Flat Earth is somehow involved.
Oh, how many
totally crazy show, but the
hangouts are starting to overlap on each other on top of it.
Yes,
there's hangouts pretty much every single day on Flat Earth. I mean, YouTube's got to see this. They've got to see. It's like, there's Flat Earth. Somebody in the whoever's crunching numbers has got to be like, there's hangouts for this topic going on all the time, and it's been going on way before the Shaq thing happened, way before the Kyrie thing happened. Yeah.
I don't know if Flat Earth is growing as fast as I feel it's growing. I don't have a way to really measure it, but I feel it's growing. I feel
it is. No. It absolutely is. I mean, I'm not going to tell you on air some of the reasons I know, but just the stats, just the stat numbers themselves. When they try to crush the numbers, they can only crush the general search, but the upload date, or if you sort Flat Earth by year, when you start looking at the real numbers, they're massive. They're massive numbers. Remember, for as many people as there are that are making YouTube videos, and I don't know what the ratio is, but it's got to be huge. How many other people are out there that either can't make them, are just watching, scared to talk to scared to put themselves out there. They're so worried that anyone's going to know. How many closet flat earthers are there? There's
on my show last week, the guy whose name is Andrew, who's doing work on my house, kind of odd jobs, and he owns a lawn care company and a home improvement company, and he was fixing one of my doors, and he saw my license plate on my car and came in talking to me about conspiracies. He knew about it. Does he have a channel? No. Does he make videos? No. Does his girlfriend, fiance have a channel or make videos? No. But they know about flat earth. They know about you, Mark. They know about all the other flat earthers. And they know that this is happening and this is going on. And so there's people, you could be on a bus riding next to somebody who's a flat earther, or work with somebody, or get an ice cream from somebody who's a flat earther. So. And
I'm having a hard time. It's gotten to the point now where I'm having to choose remixes of the songs for the flat earth license plate collections, the compilations, because we're getting so many. I'm looking at the collection right now. We've got just out of the Canadian, there's 10 Canadian provinces and 3 territories. And I think we've got half, we've got half the country so far, but the amount of states, it's not a small little commitment to just get a flat earth license plate.
I showed one of your videos that's a compilation of all the license plates to a friend of mine. I played it while sitting in my car, and he knows that I've got the license plate. And I said, look, it's not just me. And I played the video of yours and just sat there holding my phone and played, boom, 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 boom. They were just like flashing all the different license plates. And he's like, wow, this is what he said. You're not the only crazy person.
No, to put it on your car. And was that the one where it was the Zetetic Astronomers? Was the music, or was the intro to one of the Strange Worlds?
It was the Zetetic Astronomers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great song too.
And I've gotten 6 more since then for this one I'm going to release on, today's the 29th. It's 3 more days. And it's amazing. In fact, let me rattle them off real quick.
Please do.
Arizona, Arkansas, California, Saskatchewan, Alberta, Nova Scotia, Ontario, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Maryland, Minnesota, Mississippi, Montana, Nevada, New Mexico, 2 in New York, North Carolina, Ohio, Rhode Island, South Carolina, 2 in Texas, 1 in Utah, 1 in Virginia, 1 in Washington. And
none in Michigan, and I'm calling Felix I Am to get a plate next time.
Somebody get a freaking flat. Yeah, it's a cool club to be part of, and you get to put yourself out there, and it's generic enough to where people will look at it and they won't know what they're seeing, and it's fantastic so far. And so you'll dig the song that you'll appreciate the song I'm gonna be doing for the April.
Awakened Mind says the whole thing is paradigm shifting. That's for sure.
Oh
yeah. There's somebody here. I want to say hello to Stock Jockey. He and I have the same plate. Stock Jockey says, I watch Globebusters because I like some guy there named Bob. Special shout out to Bob. Bob's a great human being. And that's what I want to say about Bob. There was some moment today in YouTube somewhere on some channel where Bob wasn't treated as the man that he is. And I want to say that was wrong and unfair. So, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, somebody will tell you, or it doesn't really matter, because sometimes people get all hyped up and say things that aren't true sometimes. And I'm hoping that that's a case of that. I know I'm speaking in riddles here, but ask around. You'll know what I'm talking about. Probably somebody will even put it in this live chat. And if you're watching this at a later date, you won't know. But I also want to say hello to Genesis Restoration, who says I'm newish here. So
nice. And by the way, I'm
using lots of love in the chat.
Somebody finally, after 18 months, sent a picture. Say a pilot took a picture from the cockpit of his commercial aircraft.
Yes.
And sent it to his buddy. Now, he didn't send it to me directly, but we'll count it. The one where his buddy, he goes, I see the curve, right? And his buddy threw it into a poor man's version of Photoshop, which I can't remember what it was called, Zoop or
Photoshop,
whatever it was. And all he did was turn up the contrast on it.
Yes.
And he goes, yep, there it is. There's the line. The clouds made it kind of look like there was a curve, but it actually wasn't there. Again, it's because the pilot wanted to see the curve.
Yes.
And it was great. I'm so glad. And that video's gotten 20,000 hits in 2 days. Happy.
It's not just the curve. I think in life, with people and relationships and work situations, we want a certain thing to be a certain way, and we filter it through those sorts of eyes that want it to be something, and we fool ourselves. And that's kind of what we've been doing with the globe. If you think you saw a curve, back in the day, if you were one of those people who thought you saw a curve from an airplane window, we thought we did because we were programmed to.
Yeah,
now we're unprogrammed.
The curve's got to be there. We know we saw it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And nobody did. I mean, I saw 4 lights. Are you sure you saw 4 lights?
Exactly.
Or did you see 5 lights? Because you were told that there were 5 lights.
Well, hello to everyone and goodbye to everyone. I didn't even read all the names that are in chat. This has been a really fun show. And I want to thank everybody who was watching it live. And thanks to those who will be watching it at a later date. And we might not have a secret show next Wednesday. I might have to go somewhere out of the country for a spur of the moment thing. So
honestly, that is not what you
up to date.
Make up something domestic, because when you say that,
well,
I've got a black bag op in Honduras. It's last minute. I'm really upset about it, but they couldn't get anybody.
Yeah, it's a coded message. I'll have to eat it or they'll kill me.
Exactly. It's like fantastic. It's great. Seriously, that's what you want to tell people. Why don't you just say, look, no, I've got a plumber coming, or my handyman that showed up last week, which was actually a stagehand.
No,
make up something more.
I might be going to India. Okay, how about that? That's pretty cool, right?
Why?
Isn't that awesome?
No, India is an acronym. The Americans came up with an acronym for that,
What is it?
I'll never do it again.
Oh, no.
That's
I want to see the Taj Mahal. It might happen or it might not, but I'm thinking it might happen. So
seriously, you're doing a James Bond thing in India?
Yeah. Got to work on my spy outfits. Anyway.
Yeah, you're not going to stick out in India. Ooh.
All right. Well, that concludes our show. Many thanks to everybody for participating in it. And thank you, Mark. And I'll see you either next week or I'll be in India and I'll see you the week after that.
No, we won't see you in India.
True. All right. Love to all. See you later. Keep it flat.
Keep it flat.
Bye.
George Clooney.
India.